Good afternoon, everybody. Now we have a small announcement for you, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I would like to announce that on your desks you have the beautiful issue, special issue of the World Heritage Review on World Heritage in Bahrain. Because you are sitting here in the committee room, you can at least see the beautiful sights of Bahrain. So I just want to recommend it to you. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and please be seated. So, dear colleague, before resuming our discussion on the state of conservation on Kathmandu Valley, I would like to propose the following. As you know, a draft decision 42-7B10 has been proposed under the state of conservation site of Japan's Meiji Industrial Revolution, iron and steel shipbuilding and coal mining, Japan. This draft decision can be found in 7B added to. This draft decision was the subject of intense negotiation and has been agreed upon by all the parties concerned. I would like, therefore, to propose it adopted without debate. I see no objection. A draft decision 42-7A21 is adopted. Thank you. Dear colleague, allow me to underline the spirit of dialogue and mutual respect which has prevailed in achieving a consensus, keeping in mind the committee debates. In that context, I would like on behalf of the members of the committee, first to congratulate both parties for their concrete efforts in achieving this consensus. Second, allow me to encourage the continuing dialogue between the concerned parties in this endeavor. Third, to request the full implementation of these decisions. Thank you for your understanding and cooperation in this matter. I now give the floor to the state parties for a short statement. I would like to give the floor now to the delegation of the Republic of Korea.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I note with appreciation that decision 42-7A.21 on sites of Japan's Meiji Industrial Revolution was adopted by consensus. I'd like to express my sincere thanks to Her Excellency Sheikh Haya Rashid Al Khalifa, our chair of the committee, Secretariat of UNESCO, and the member states of the committee for their sincere cooperation and support on this matter. As clearly referenced in the decision, I hope that bilateral dialogue between the Republic of Korea and Japan will be continued to fully implement the decisions we have adopted, and that the government of Japan will take into account best international practices for interpretation strategies when continuing its work on the interpretation of the full history of the property. The World Heritage Convention emphasizes that the safeguarding of the World Heritage property is a common task for all of us, regardless of our diverse origin or nationality, and that it requires cooperation from all people around the world. This is why I would very much appreciate that the members of the committee would continue to take special attention in this matter and follow measures for its full implementation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And now I give the floor to the delegation of Japan.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. As this is the first time that I take the floor, let me, at the onset, commend you, Madam Chair, for your dedication and able leadership. I would also like to thank the government of Bahrain for its excellent preparation for this conference and the warm hospitality kindly extended to us. Madam Chair, on behalf of the government of Japan, I wholeheartedly welcome the adoption by consensus of the decision 42-7B10 on the state of conservation of the sites of Japan's Meiji Industrial Revolution. I do thank all the member states of the committee for the adoption. As made clear in the State of Conservation report, Japan has sincerely implemented the recommendations included in the decision 39-8B14 adopted at the 39th session of the committee. Today's decision provides us with a new platform of our conservation efforts. Japan renews its determination to fulfilling all the recommendations described in the decision, including interpretation strategies, opening of the information center, and the continuation of dialogue, while sincerely maintaining the commitments Japan has made in its statement as referred to in the decision 39-8B14. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And now we will continue our discussion on the issue of Kathmandu Valley. And I will continue with our reporters. He will give you the proposed text and one paragraph by one paragraph as you have proposed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and good afternoon to all colleagues. I trust you all had time to review the decision because the copies have been distributed to all of you. As I have already proceeded to the presentation of the paragraphs, almost, I would just like to go to scroll quickly to the last paragraphs, please, if we could. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. I believe we were at paragraph 13. So as you will see, there's a proposal from Australia for paragraph 13, which would replace the original, and it would read, requests furthermore the state party to submit to the World Heritage Centre by 1st of February 2019 a report on the state of conservation of the property and the implementation of the above for examination by the World Heritage Committee at its 43rd session in 2019, with a view to considering, in the case of confirmation of the ascertained or potential danger to OUV of the property, its possible inscription on the list of World Heritage in danger. And these are all the amendments that we have received so far, Madam Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And now we will go one paragraph, one by one, and you have to say your views. Thank you. One by one, huh?
So paragraph 1 isn't changed. So I think no. So paragraph 1, I don't see any change. So I think we can proceed to its adoption.
So, paragraph 1, you agree? Mm-hmm. No objection, no comments, nothing? Paragraph 1. So it is adopted. Now, paragraph 2.
Paragraph 2 also has no changes, Madam Chair.
As you see on the screen. It's okay? So it is adopted. Paragraph 3.
And then for paragraph 3, as noted, there's a slight amendment by a group of countries.
Is there any objection or comments? Paragraph 3. So it is adopted. 3.
Thank you. For paragraph 4, we also have an amendment that you can see on the screen.
So paragraph 4. Australia? No? Okay. So it is paragraph 4. It is adopted.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And for paragraph 5, we have two alternatives. We have the proposal of Australia to retain some parts of the original paragraph. And then we have the proposal of a group of countries who have prepared a redrafted paragraph 5, which you can see on the screen.
So
paragraph 5, we have two options.
Paragraph 5,
Yes.
we have two options. So please, Australia, you have the floor.
Madam Chair, we're happy with the proposed changes from Brazil and the other countries because the text that we wanted left in is really represented in the paragraph 4 above, so we're happy with the change.
Paragraph 5 is adopted.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Then for paragraph 6, we have two options. Australia is proposing to keep the original, while a group of countries is proposing a slightly revised version. So the question would be if we retain the original paragraph or we instead decide to go with the amended version.
Bahrain, you have the floor.
We agree with the second option from Brazil, China, and Cuba. It requests that the recommendations and missions systematically carried out, fully followed by implemented in the best way by the state party.
Thank you very much. Australia, please.
Madam Chair, we too are happy with this changes, except we're not sure of the need to have in a best way in the text, because I'm sure the state party will decide which is the best way and do it in the best way. So I don't know that we have to have that in there.
Please.
Thank you very much. In the case the committee wishes to consider the revised paragraph, I would like to make a suggestion to change the wording a bit, keeping the spirit of the proposed amendment, so that it might be a bit easier to read. So my proposal would be requests that the recommendations of the October 2015 and March 2017 missions are implemented systematically and fully observed by the state party. So I put this suggestion to the members who have proposed the amended paragraph to see if they can agree with it.
Cuba, please.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Puede que sea por un problema de traducción, pero a nosotros nos queda más claro el espíritu de esta enmienda al decir que de la mejor manera posible o en lo posible, pero creo que nos gusta más la opción inicial que habíamos presentado. Gracias.
Thank you. Spain. Please, Spain, you have the floor.
Simplemente a efectos de aclaración y como ya tenemos distintos textos tachados y en diferentes colores, agradecería al rapporteur que nos leyera el texto antes de poder procederlo a aprobar, puesto que la propuesta que ha hecho Cuba no quiere decir lo mismo implementar en la mejor manera o de la mejor manera posible. Nosotros preferimos la sugerencia que ha hecho el rapporteur.
Thank you very much. So what I have proposed was request that the recommendations of the October 2015 and March 2017 missions are implemented systematically and fully observed by the state party. And then we have received by Cuba, yes, we have received by Cuba, if I understood correctly, to say in a best possible way. So we will try to reflect that on the screen as well. Thank you.
Cuba, please.
El problema es que ahora nos llega otra versión de lo que había dicho la rapporteur. Nosotros preferimos el texto inicial de la propuesta, o sea, no veníamos con una intención de cambiar nuestra propia enmienda y el resto de los que estamos presentando esta enmienda, pero nos parecía mejor la opción inicial, pero bueno, acompañaremos el sentido y el consenso que tenga la sala.
Excuse me, is there any objection on the rapporteur's version? Is there any objection? Yes or no? No. Okay, now, yeah, okay. I give the floor now to Brazil, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. I think we could accommodate what Cuba is suggesting by reading it, by including Cuba's suggestion above. That would read, requests that the state, that the recommendations of the October 2015 and March 2017 missions are implemented and systematically and fully observed in the best way possible by the state party. Thank you.
Cuba, please.
Sí, pudiéramos aceptar la propuesta, pero creo que estamos en un juego de palabras, pero sí, podemos aceptar la propuesta.
Thank you. Spain, please.
Yo es que creo que aquí tenemos dos conceptos distintos. Si son systematically and fully observed, no pueden ser the best way possible. No tengo ningún inconveniente en que haya un cierto grado de flexibilidad en función de las circunstancias, pero entonces no va a ser systematically and fully observed. Pero bueno, si hay consenso por esa fórmula que permita que se cumplan todas las recomendaciones que hayan sido hechas tanto por la misión de octubre de 2015 y 2017 y eso quede claro, pues no nos oponemos.
Thank you. Cuba, please.
Sí, el problema está justamente en cómo se ha redactado, porque como dice la embajadora de España, estamos diciendo que en la medida de lo posible, pero estamos diciendo que de manera plenamente también. Entonces, ahí habría que buscar alguna... O sea, el término, la propuesta de la rapporteur nos complica la redacción. Quizás que se puede... O sea, soit la mise en œuvre systématiquement de la meilleure façon possible. Je ne sais pas si pleinement c'est un peu en contradiction de la meilleure façon possible. Es un problema de redacción.
Thank you. Please.
Thank you very much. I just wish to make a clarification. The reason I propose this alternative wording is because the distinguished delegate of Australia said that they didn't feel like the best way this part in the text should stay in. So actually, my proposal was to put forward a text that doesn't have this word in it. Thank you.
Thank you. Australia, please.
Just to aid the committee, we're happy with the formulation that is around the best possible way. We were simply making the point that we had confidence that the States Party would, of course, seek to implement these recommendations in the best possible way, and we didn't need to say that to them, but if the committee's mood is to have a reference to the best possible way, we certainly aren't going to stand in the way.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Then I will withdraw my proposal, and then we can stick with the original amendment as it was submitted, I believe. So I will now read it out. So it would read, request that the recommendations of the October 2015 and March 2017 missions be systematically carried out, fully followed, and implemented in a best way by the state party. Thank you.
So, is it okay for you? Yes? Thank you very much. So, it is adopted. And now I think paragraph 6.
Yes, and now we have paragraph 7, which would be slightly amended, as you can see on the screen. Thank you. I apologize. The rapporteur would like to apologize. So we have former paragraph 7 that is proposed for complete deletion by a group of countries first. Thank you.
Now, number 7, you deleted. I cannot hear you. Okay, so original paragraph 7 is deleted. Are you okay? Yes. Spain? Spain, please. You have the floor.
Yo quisiera preguntar a aquellos que han hecho esta propuesta y en relación también con la modificación del párrafo siguiente en el que se pide la supresión del mecanismo de coordinación internacional, puesto que estamos en un caso en el que, tal y como se ha expuesto, hay una necesidad de acometer una serie de desafíos. ¿Cuál es la razón para que no haya poner en marcha mecanismos más de estructuras científicas ni mecanismos internacionales de colaboración con las autoridades locales? Si es que simplemente quieren que sea el Centro de Patrimonio Mundial e ICOMOS, no sé, me gustaría simplemente que no nos vamos a oponer, pero me gustaría que nos explicaran la razón a aquellos países que han expuesto la supresión de estas dos posibilidades de cooperación internacional.
So any one of the country who proposed to delete the Article 7 to give the reasoning why you wanted to delete the original 7? Who tell me again the name of the Brazil, China, Cuba, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, Uganda. Somebody want to give us the reasoning? China? Please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'm not sure I can be very helpful in this direction because we consulted the state party concerned and it's their view. And I think we are in full respect of their view to not to include or make the deletion proposed. But I think the main spirit of this document should be in line with encouragement, mostly encouragement. I think they deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cuba, maybe give us the answer.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Sí, y era un poco armonizar también en relación a que era un párrafo que correspondía a la versión anterior que tenía un fin diferente de incluir en la lista en peligro el bien. Entonces, nos acogemos también a la explicación que ha dado el embajador de China, que pasa también por una visión propia que tenga el Estado sobre su capacidad de hacer frente a la situación, aunque bueno, la cooperación y la colaboración siempre estarán presentes y serán bienvenidas.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Spain, please. Spain.
Pues sin querer romper este consenso que parece apoyarse en la razón del Estado parte, yo simplemente lamento, puesto que hay una falta de coherencia con el párrafo tercero, que se reconoce que reconociendo el compromiso del Estado parte y el trabajo que ha hecho, en particular en el refuerzo de las capacidades, así como los esfuerzos de las agencias internacionales. Y yo creo que es un caso en el que hay que trabajar con todas las agencias internacionales y buscar todos los mecanismos de colaboración para evitar, primero para proteger el sitio y segundo pues para evitar que en el futuro tengamos que vernos con plantearnos no solamente por los desafíos de reconstrucción tras un terremoto, sino por los otros desafíos que están reconocidos, evitar que tengamos en este comité pues que plantearnos incorporarlo en un futuro en una lista, y creo que contar con el apoyo de la comunidad científica internacional pues siempre puede ser muy positivo, pero no obstante, si los demás países piden la supresión de este mecanismo científico, nosotros no nos oponemos.
Thank you very much. So now we reached to a consensus. If you agreed, they accept to delete it. Do you have any comments, Australia?
Just briefly, Madam Chair, we have no intention of interrupting the consensus which we support. It's just that by removing international scientific steering coordination mechanism, we render the sentence meaningless because there is a verb to initiate and there is nothing being initiated.
Thank you. Who else? Brazil. Yes, Brazil, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I think our colleague from Australia is correct. Maybe the reason for deleting this mention to the steering coordination mechanism, I think was very much in line with the inscription of the site in the list in danger. And the other reason, as far as I understand, for deleting it is that it might take some time until we constitute this international scientific steering committee mechanism, which I understand still does not exist, although it is written in capital letters as if it were already an established body. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Then I presume that you are agree to delete. Delete? Huh? What? Now, do we agree that Article 7 or number 7 deleted? Yes? Norway, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to ask the Secretariat if you could give us a recommendation on whether this paragraph should be left in the text or not. Thank you.
Thank you, distinguished delegate from Norway. The original intention with this for that really to ensure overall coordination on the mechanisms for all the ongoing operational projects to be carried out at the site by different countries, including international agencies. So in the text, we say initiated by the state party, so it should be say with the proposed international scientific steering coordination mechanism.
Thank you very much. So China, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Chairperson, can I make a suggestion? I agree with the Australian distinguished colleague of Australia that at the moment the state party to initiate without a object it doesn't mean anything. Can I change the word to say encourage the state party to invite and then delete with to invite technical support from the World Heritage Center and the advisory body to assist the state party with developing structure, blah, blah, blah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You agree? Bahrain, please.
We agree with the proposal from our distinguished colleague, China.
Thank you very much. Do you agree? No. Is anybody object? Is there any objection? Brazil. Brazil, please, you have the floor.
Excuse me, Madam Chairperson, to intervene again, but the way it is written, I think it doesn't make that much sense. I think that we don't know who has to be encouraged the way it is written. We encourage the state party to assist the state party. So maybe we encourage technical support from the World Heritage Center and the advisory bodies to assist the state party.
To encourage the advisory body. You can put it. Are you agree? Yes, there is Spain. Spain, please.
Yo no soy anglófona, pero no tiene mucho sentido lo que estamos. Yo creo que lo que hay es que animar efectivamente al Estado parte a que reciba por parte de los del Centro de Patrimonio Mundial y de los órganos asesores apoyo técnico para desarrollar estructuras de coordinación y guía para recuperar la propiedad, el bien y su valor universal. No sé cómo si intentar repetirlo en inglés, quizás pueden ayudarme los países anglófonos, pero para que tenga una cierta lógica lo que estamos reflejando en este párrafo.
Thank you very much. Australia, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In the interests of assisting us to reach a conclusion on this paragraph, I would say that I think that the language proposed by our distinguished Chinese colleague, in fact, captures very neatly the spirit of the discussion. That is to say, it encourages the state party to invite technical support from the World Heritage centre. We could make it active and say we encourage the state party to invite the World Heritage Centre and advisory bodies to provide technical support, if you would prefer, but I think the sentence is pretty clear in English.
Thank you. Cuba, please.
Sí, gracias. Agradezco al colega de Australia porque era justamente la preocupación que teníamos. Normalmente la práctica de redacción de este tipo de lenguaje nos invita al Estado a invitar. O sea, se pide al Centro de Patrimonio. Y a veces tenemos mucho temor de pedirle al centro o pedirle a los órganos, pero en este caso sería pedirle al centro que brinde al Estado parte una asistencia en este sentido, que todos compartimos y que un poco puede cubrir también lo que planteaba la embajadora de España de la necesidad de un llamado internacional para cooperar con la reconstrucción del sitio. Gracias.
Australia, please, can you repeat, because they want to type your proposal?
Madam Chair, perhaps it could read then, encourages the state party to invite the World Heritage Centre and advisory bodies to provide technical support to assist the state party with developing structures to coordinate and guide the recovery of the property and its outstanding universal value.
Thank you very much. Now, are we are you accept this proposed text, or you have any comments or objection, Cuba? No? You are okay? Everybody's okay? So we adopt it? We adopt the proposed text, which is in front of you on the screen? Yes? So it is adopted. And now, I think paragraph.
Thank you.
8.
Yes, so we have new paragraph 8, that was former paragraph 9, that has been slightly amended by a group of countries. Thank you very much.
The new paragraph 8 is accepted. Yes? No objection? Australia, please.
Madam Chair, just a slight change that might tidy up the addition from the other committee members. So in reading out, what we suggest is, and also considers that much greater input, collaboration and coordination of support is needed from the international community. And end it there. There isn't any shift table.
Okay. Is there any objection? Please, Australia.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, we were thinking that we could delete the could likely help to achieve this shift. So if we finished it just at international community and left it there, that would be agreeable.
Thank you. I will just read out the amended part of this paragraph as proposed by Australia. So it would now read, and also considers that much greater input, collaboration and coordination of support is needed from the international community, full stop.
Is it okay? Is there Any comments? No? So we adopt paragraph 8. It is adopted.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Then we have former paragraph 10, which is proposed for complete deletion. Thank you.
So it is deleted, the next paragraph. Is there any objection? No. It is adopted. Next paragraph, please.
Thank you. Then we have former paragraph 11, which would have inscribed this property on the list of World Heritage in danger, proposed for deletion. Thank you.
Is there any objection? No. So it is adopted. The next paragraph, please.
Former paragraph 12 is also proposed for deletion. Thank you.
Cuba, please.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Esperaba precisamente la decisión del comité con relación a este párrafo, porque en tal caso de que no se aprueba de que el sitio pase a la lista en peligro, creo que debíamos revisar nuevamente el final del párrafo 7, toda vez que en él se hace referencia a recuperar el valor universal del sitio. Y yo creo que en ese caso habría que hablar de conservar el valor universal del sitio.
Thank you. Can we... Now, paragraph 7, it's already adopted. There is a decision. Can we just stick on this paragraph, please? We cannot change now Article 7 or paragraph 7. Please, Cuba.
Hemos aprobado parcialmente, pero hemos adoptado ahora en un párrafo una decisión que es básica para toda la decisión que está adoptando el comité. Si el sitio no pasa a ser inscrito en la lista en peligro y, por tanto, estamos considerando que no ha perdido su valor universal excepcional, deberíamos cambiar el párrafo 7. Gracias.
Thank you. Spain, please.
Muchas gracias, señora presidenta. Aunque considero que, en el fondo, el distinguido delegado de Cuba tiene razón porque hay una inconsistencia respecto al procedimiento, la señora presidenta tiene toda la razón de que el párrafo ya ha sido aprobado. Yo por ello quería pedir encarecidamente a la rapporteur que antes de aprobar el párrafo hiciera una lectura, porque de esa manera podemos proceder a aprobarlo y evitar este tipo de problemas que ocurren con cierta frecuencia en este comité y en otros comités, y nos encontramos entonces con inconsistencias en los párrafos de las decisiones que aprobamos luego globalmente. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you. But you have it in front of you. Even if she read it or not read it, it's in front of you. We suppose that you read all the paragraphs. Now we cannot approve something and we go back and think about it again. Please, we have to be very consistent. Please. Now, Bosnia, please.
Merci beaucoup, Madame la Présidente. Nous pensons que la remarque de notre collègue cubain est tout à fait appropriée et qu'ici, il s'agit d'une question de principe et d'un précédent qui pourrait peut-être être un peu dangereux pour quelle que soit l'autre décision si on garde paragraphe 7 tel comme il est. Merci.
Thank you. Cuba, want to speak again? Cuba, please.
Sí, gracias, señora presidenta. Yo entiendo el sentido de la observación de que el párrafo, de hecho habíamos levantado el cartel para ese párrafo pero pensábamos que no podíamos adelantarnos a un último párrafo sobre el que se podría debatir si se incluía o no, o sea, si se sacaba o no el bien. Están nuestras queridas asesoras jurídicas, que me complace mucho verlas aquí, y quizás nos podrían decir, ¿está aprobada la decisión? No está aprobada la decisión. Hasta tanto la decisión no se aprueba, es posible ir viendo, porque de hecho procesalmente se ve párrafo por párrafo, pero después se vuelve al final y se ve toda la decisión. Lo que pasa es que en esta sesión no lo hemos estado haciendo así, pero hasta que no se aprueba finalmente la decisión, puede haber cualquier situación de este tipo, sobre todo cuando hay una relación entre un párrafo y el sentido final de la decisión. No nos vamos a oponer al consenso, ni vamos a generar un problema de esto, pero sí tenemos derecho, hasta que no se apruebe finalmente la decisión, a poder regresar a cualquier otra cuestión, sobre todo si está relacionada con un párrafo final. Y habíamos pedido la palabra, pero preferimos esperar al final. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, but I am sorry, if we approve one paragraph, we will not go back to it. It is not the matter of legal advisor, it's a matter of organizing this meeting. We cannot approve something and go back and just remove it. We cannot. It is impossible. Approve means that we agree. We cannot do like this, please. It's according to the rules and according to my power, according to Article 14. We will not waste our time and waste all this member time. You want to something, we approved it, and then you come and said we did a mistake and we want to come back again. We will not do it. We will follow and we will continue, and I will not permit that, accept that we are wasting our time and time of the committee. Thank you. No, Mafi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wish to, after the comments of the distinguished delegate of Bosnia and others, I would just like to draw the attention of the committee that the group of countries who have amended paragraph 7 is also the group of countries who proposed that this site would not be inscribed on the list of World Heritage in Danger, and in this sense, it was my assumption that all the paragraphs preceding the deletion of paragraph 11 would go towards the sense that would be what we adopt, that this property is not moved on the list of World Heritage in Danger. And I don't really think I can comment on the legal aspect of whether we can go back on paragraph 7 or not. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, Cuba.
Sí, gracias, señora presidenta. Pedí un punto de orden. Usted puede tener la interpretación. Nuestro espíritu no está ni en hacer perder tiempo. Creo que hemos tratado de contribuir en los debates. Ni se trata de un problema de capricho ni de malestar personal. Se trata de que en el momento en que lo pedimos, usted estaba avanzando en su decisión. Cuando un Estado pide un punto de orden, hay que darle la palabra. Y cuando un Estado hace una pregunta a la asesoría legal, también debe respondérselo. Les reitero, no es nuestra intención ni hacer perder el tiempo. Todos estamos contribuyendo y aportando en un caso que nos interesa a todos. Y nos parece que presumir que estamos intentando que el comité y usted pierda tiempo no es el sentido de nuestra intervención. Por eso nosotros pedimos una consulta a la asesoría legal, pero también le dije que no queríamos ir en contra del consenso de la sala, pero sí es nuestro derecho porque no se ha adoptado la decisión final. Pero no entraré en mayores detalles ni en más debates, pero pedimos un punto de orden que fue violentado y pedimos una consulta a la asesoría legal que no ha sido respondida. Muchas gracias.
You are wasting our time. This is not the first time, and I am sorry, I will not accept this kind of, you are not teaching us. We know the law is in front of us, and we know exactly every article, each article. You ask from the beginning to delete number 7. We delete it. Everybody, we discuss it, and we give you the full right. Now you say we will go back to number 7. We will not go back to number 7. And we will continue. If you have anything, I am sorry, I have the right to rule this session. Don't waste our time, please. Please continue.
Thank you very much. Then I believe we were at paragraph 12, which was proposed for... Now, if we could scroll up a bit, former paragraph 12. Thank you. So we were at former paragraph 12, which was also proposed for deletion. Thank you.
Is there any comment? Cuba, please.
Gracias, señora presidenta, pero lamentamos decirle que no era el párrafo 7 al que nosotros nos referíamos. No nos referíamos al párrafo suprimido, nos referíamos al párrafo que seguía ese párrafo. No hablábamos del párrafo 7 que fue suprimido, hablábamos del párrafo que quedaba a continuación, del 9.7, que en su momento fue el párrafo 8. Hubo evidentemente un problema de incomunicación, pero no nos referíamos al párrafo 8. Muchas gracias.
Is there any comments, other comments? Can you read it, please?
Okay, I'm going to repeat it because it seems there's a bit of confusion, but we have just adopted deleting paragraph 11, former paragraph 11, which would have put this property on the list of World Heritage in danger. So we have adopted the deletion of that paragraph, and now we progress to former paragraph 12, which would actually talk about drafting the desired state of conservation for the removal of the property from the list of World Heritage in danger. So subsequently, since we have there was already a proposal to delete paragraph 11, it is logical that now we proceed to accommodate the amendments of the group of countries and also delete former paragraph 12. So this is where we stand right now, in my view. Thank you.
Is there any objection on deleting paragraph 12? No objection. Then it is adopted.
Thank you. So now we arrive to new paragraph 9, which would read, request the state party to fully commit to use appropriate methods and materials in recovery works. Thank you.
Is there any comments? Thank you. It is adopted.
Thank you. So now we proceed to new paragraph 10, which would read, reiterates its request that the state party integrate the recovery master plan within an overall socio-economic revitalization program for urban communities, encourage residents and local business to engage in the recovery process and ensure that it delivers wide-ranging social and economic benefits. Thank you.
Is there any comments? Any objection? It is adopted.
Thank you. Now we have new paragraph 11, which was former paragraph 13, where we have a suggestion of a group of countries to delete the last part of the paragraph, and we have a counter proposal from Australia to keep the original. So I will now read out the amended proposal. It would read, calls upon the international community to support the state party's urgent recovery work through financial, technical, or expert assistance, full stop. And Australia's proposal is to continue and include the rest, which would read, including support for local communities in terms of their housing and social needs. Thank you.
Australia, please, you have the floor.
Madam Chair, if the consensus in the room is to take that final line out, we're happy with that, but we do think it's an important line, and we'd like to know why it was deleted in the amendments presented by the other countries.
Bahrain, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. We agree with Australia. It is absolutely important and relevant to keep support of the local communities. So we agree with Australia.
Thank you. Norway, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We also agree with Australia to keep this sentence in. Thank you.
Thank you. Zimbabwe? Yes. Zimbabwe, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We also agree to keep the local communities in. Thank you.
Kuwait, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We also support the Australia's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tanzania, please.
Thank you, Chair. Tanzania also goes in line with Australia.
Thank you very much. Is there? It seems to be Tunisia, please.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Comme je prends la parole pour la première fois à cette session, je vous salue et je remercie le Royaume de Bahreïn d'avoir accueilli cette session. Et la Tunisie s'associe aux autres pays qui ont appuyé la proposition de l'Australie. Merci.
Thank you very much. Is there any objection? Thank you very much. So we will adopt the text of this paragraph you have.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So just to clarify, then the consensus is to keep the original paragraph as it was without deleting the last part. Yes, now we can see it on the screen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we adopt this paragraph.
Then we proceed to new paragraph 12, which would read, suggest the state party to invite a joint World Heritage Center ICOMOS-ICROM advisory mission to ascertain the progress accomplished by the state party to assist in the implementation of the 6-year RMP, as well as to give guidance on reviewing it. And here we have a proposal from Hungary to add to the end of this amendment, and recommends that this mission take place by the end of 2018. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any objection? Nothing? Comments? No, nothing. So it is so adopted.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And then we have the final paragraph, where we have a proposal from Australia, which I will now read out. Requests furthermore the state party to submit to the World Heritage Center by 1st of February 2019 a report on the state of conservation of the property and the implementation of the above for examination by the World Heritage Committee at its 43rd session in 2019, with a view to considering, in the case of confirmation of the ascertained or potential danger to OUV of the property, its possible inscription on the list of World Heritage in danger. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Norway, please.
Madam Chair, we support the suggestion made by Australia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. China, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I was thinking this last phrase, it's possible inscription on the list of World Heritage in danger, somehow entails or presumes this possibility of getting into the World Heritage in danger. But the whole spirit of our document seems to encourage further works. But this last bit sounds like a warning. I thought we would have no problem supporting Australia's view of requesting the state party involved to produce reports and commit to all the requests that have been made, not necessarily having the last bit of a warning kind of thing. It sounds to me like a warning. So this is the point I wish to make. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Spain, please.
Muchas gracias, señora presidenta. España considera adecuada la propuesta hecha por Australia y apoyada por Noruega, puesto que, a diferencia del matiz que ha hecho el embajador de China, no creemos que es ni una amenaza ni una alerta, pero que se incluya esta posibilidad de que se examine. Lo único que se dice en el párrafo es que, que sea una posibilidad de considerar. No es a la luz, digamos, del cumplimiento que estamos seguros que las autoridades de Nepal van a hacer de las recomendaciones de este comité. Se puede añadir y además la propia redacción dice en el caso, lo cual significa que solamente en el caso de que no se cumplieran estas recomendaciones estaríamos considerando su inclusión. Por eso creemos que es importante mantener esta formulación que la delegación de Australia ha incorporado a este borrador de decisión. Muchísimas gracias.
Cuba, please.
Gracias, señora presidenta. A nosotros también un poco nos preocupaba estar condicionando el hecho de que la mirada con que lo vamos a volver a revisar sea para confirmar su potencial peligro. Entiendo también el punto de vista que acaba de expresar la embajadora de España, pero quizás si pudiéramos buscar una formulación más en positivo, quizás podríamos llegar a un mejor consenso, como mismo lo hizo Australia en una de las decisiones anteriores que decidimos, o si no, cambiar la periodicidad, el momento en que haríamos esta revisión para darle un poco más de tiempo al Estado parte, o si no, en caso de confirmación del peligro potencial del BUE, nos parece que lo condiciona mucho más, pero bueno, continuaremos escuchando y nos sumaremos en cualquier caso al consenso.
Thank you very much. Bahrain, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I would just want to express that we are in agreement with the suggestion from the State Party of China, and also the trying to find different kind of language that does not include warning or does not include such strong condition, and maybe find a way which is more kind of positive. So I agree also with Cuba. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I give the floor to Zimbabwe, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We believe that we are negotiating and putting these recommendations in good faith, and I would like to propose that to show our good faith that the State Party will act upon the recommendations, let's leave it at 2019, so without any further conditions. So I would like to support the proposal by China and Bahrain.
Thank you very much. Now, Azerbaijan, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Azerbaijan also is on a view that we should not prejudge the outcomes of this report and to put some conditions on the State Party that in the case of the potential danger to the OEV, that this property could be possibly inscribed to the list of all the heritage in danger. So we believe that the language should be rather encouraging and without any preconditions, as we consider it, as we always also saying that there should be no prejudgment before this report came out. So we support the proposal of China and others to keep the original text. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, Brazil.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I would have a proposal of rewriting the paragraph in a more positive way, as I agree with some observations made by the distinguished ambassador of China. So my proposition would be to say the same thing, but in a positive way, in my point of view. So the sentence would read after, with a view to considering. It would read, with a view to assuring the maintenance of the outstanding universal value of the site. Thank you very much. Sorry.
Thank you very much. And now, Tanzania, please.
Thank you, Chair. Tanzania also would want to support China, Bahrain, Zimbabwe, and Uzbekistan to delete the last sentence, which gives a threatening tone to the state party. We are trying to see what can be done to the property, considering that the state party has a lot of challenges, and in 1 year, definitely, they have only achieved very small. So I would think we only do it objectively, see what can be done, and let it stay there, and see what happens.
Thank you very much. Kuwait, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Also, we think and we support the initiative or the suggestion from China. We think the time scale is very little to get the site back, especially there is a lot of state parties involved, the international bodies, the country, the local communities. So we think the time frame is really short to judge the site and to be in danger list. So we support the Chinese suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So right now it seems that we have some member states, some members of the committee who would prefer to retain the original paragraph 13 without the amendment of the view of considering the in-danger listing of the property. And then we have a proposal from Brazil to replace this last sentence with a different one, in which it would say, with a view to assuring the maintenance of the OUV of the site. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Australia, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just hearing and trying to respond to the commentary and the desire to cast the words in a more positive tone, and I'm wondering whether that might be achieved by separating this paragraph into two components. The first would be for the committee to note that in circumstances where there is ascertained or potential danger to the outstanding universal value of a property, the committee may inscribe that property on the list of World Heritage in Danger. And then the second part would be the existing 13.
Thank you very much. You may give us the exact wording, please.
Certainly. So immediately above existing 13, it would say notes that in circumstances where there is ascertained or potential danger to the outstanding universal value of a property, the committee may inscribe that property. The committee may consider inscription of that property on the list of World Heritage in Danger. And then that would be it. And then if the committee was happy with that approach, then we would very happily withdraw the text below.
Thank you very much. Now, Zimbabwe, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am looking at the new paragraph 13, and it sounds like we are repeating the operational guidelines in this property.
Yeah.
This would be a standard paragraph in every property if this was the case, because we are repeating here what is in our operational guidelines. Should it just appear for this particular property, or you make a new rule that every property carries this new paragraph 13?
Thank you very much. Now, Tanzania, please.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I had the same thinking with Zimbabwe.
Thank you very much. Now, Angola, please.
Madame la Présidente, l'Angola aimerait garder les choses simples. Donc, si nous anticipons ici qu'éventuellement il y aura un problème sur la VUE, on ne l'a pas, donc on part du futur. Les choses peuvent changer positivement. Donc là, il faut faire deux paragraphes, un dans le sens négatif et l'autre dans le sens positif. Donc, ça ne marchera pas. Gardons les choses simples, attendons le rapport du 1er février 2019 pour qu'on décide si le bien va sur la liste du patrimoine en péril ou s'il reste. Donc, gardons les choses simples, attendons 2019 pour prendre une décision si il va sur la liste ou il ne va pas sur la liste. Donc nous appuyons la proposition de la Chine et des autres pays. Merci.
Thank you very much. And now, China, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'm sorry to ask for floor again, but I thought the Brazilian addition or a different way of wording might go along well with the earlier amended text. It captures the essence of Australian colleague, but at the same time, it wouldn't. It is still very encouraging. So, if there is, I mean, we couldn't accept one version or the other. Perhaps the additional phrase proposed by Brazil will be a good solution. Simply added at the end of the sentence, end of the paragraph, we still maintain the current now number 14, because we still consider Australia's new proposal a bit of prejudging the result of whatever work is going to happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, Brazil, please.
Thank you very much, and sorry to take the floor again. I'll be very brief. My difficulty with the proposal that has just been made by our Australian colleague is that we are mentioning circumstances where there is a certain or potential danger. I would like to recall that what caused the destruction of this site was an earthquake. So this is a circumstance, and that did not depend on the country. We are now talking about the efforts the country is making to recover, but there might be circumstances beyond the willingness of that country, like another earthquake. God help us that it doesn't happen. So I would like to stick with the proposal that was endorsed by China. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And now, Australia, please.
No, thank you, Chair. Australia well understands the point that Brazil has just made very rightly about, in this situation, the circumstances being beyond the control of the state party due to that horrible earthquake with all its devastating consequences. But we also do understand that some of the potential risk to outstanding universal value of the property is coming prospectively from some of the activity in the rebuilding. We well understand our attempt to find a resolution here is to restate the guidelines as they exist now. I also make the observation that the formulation of the text that we originally suggested is a very common formulation that's been used by this committee over many years, where it has concerns about the ascertained or potential danger to a site of outstanding universal value, that we go through a procedure where we do seek to understand the truth of that threat, and if that threat is demonstrated and is not mitigated, then there is that potential for in-danger listing. We have simply tried here to find a way to accommodate, but in the interest of achieving a consensus, we would be satisfied with the amendment to our text as was proposed by Brazil.
Thank you very much. Now, Azerbaijan, Hungary, and Cuba. Are you agree about the consensus? Agreed? Agreed? Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Just want to thank the Australia for joining the consensus. We believe that it is important to, again, not to put any kind of prejudgment and the conditions to this text. And we would appreciate to keep the original text, but we can go along with the proposal of Brazil, as it is already also supported by China. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cuba and Angola. Angola, yeah, thank you.
Madame la Présidente, nous nous sommes un peu gênés par cette dernière phrase. Qu'est-ce qui va garantir le maintien de la VUE? C'est une question. Qu'est-ce qui va garantir le maintien de la VUE?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. This is with this committee, and you get a report back next year, and you will analyze the situation based on the report and the assessment from the advisory bodies and the World Heritage Center. Thank you.
The text, please, final.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Then I will proceed to read the new paragraph 13, so not 14. So the final paragraph will read, also request the state party to submit to the World Heritage Center by 1st of February 2019 an updated report on the state of conservation of the property and the implementation of the above for examination by the World Heritage Committee at its 43rd session in 2019 with a view to assuring the maintenance of the OUV of the site. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There is, I think, Spain, please.
Gracias, señora presidenta.
Quizás estamos de acuerdo y España se suma a esta propuesta y a la matización que ha hecho la delegación de Brasil, pero quizás tendríamos que, efectivamente, como antes avanzó la delegación cubana, aquí estamos hablando de mantener el valor universal excepcional, cuando en el anterior párrafo habíamos hablado de recuperar el valor universal excepcional. Entonces, existe valor universal excepcional, yo creo que habría que ser consecuentes. Yo creo que estoy de acuerdo en la mantener, estamos diciendo que todavía existe un valor universal excepcional que hay que mantener, por lo tanto, lo de recuperar de antes no tendría sentido.
Thank you. Cuba, please.
Gracias, señora presidenta. No podría explicarlo mejor que como lo ha hecho la delegación de España. Creo que ha sido un problema evidentemente de comunicación, pero era a lo que nos referíamos hace un rato también con el párrafo anterior. Pero, por supuesto, nos sumaremos al consenso y facilitaremos su labor en la decisión.
Thank you very much. Now I understand that there is a consensus, so we adopt the text as a whole. It's adopted. Thank you very much. I now invite Mr. Jing to present the next report regarding the property proposed for inscription on the list of World Heritage Endangered. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Salam alaikum. Good afternoon to all committee members. The report on the state of conservation of the Fort and Shalimar Gardens in Lahore can be found in document 42 COM 7B add 2 on page 6 to 11 of the English language version and the pages 7 to 11 of the French language versions. The property is mainly threatened by the construction of the Orange Line Metro, a large-scale ground transportation project that passed on the elevated viaduct immediately next to the Shalimar Gardens component site, and was only brought to the attention of the World Heritage Center by the third parties at a very late stage. The committee has reviewed this case every year since the World Heritage Center first received third-party information about the project in October 2015, and has noted with increasingly worry that the scale and impact of the Orange Line Metro project on the property and its OUV. In 2016, the committee requested that a reactive monitoring mission be dispatched at the state party's earliest convenience to examine the project and discuss it with the relevant government authorities. We are also reviewing the management and protection arrangements for the property. Last year, the committee expressed its deep regret that the state party had not invited the reactive monitoring mission in, as requested, and that no exhaustive impact assessment had been undertaken for this project, and notably requested visual impact assessment in order to determine the project's impact and any possible mitigation measures. Since the Supreme Court of Pakistan was expected to deliver an imminent final verdict on the approval of the project, and despite the fact that construction had already progressed significantly, the committee asked that the mission be dispatched as soon as possible as the verdict was delivered. In December 2017, the Supreme Court of Pakistan decided to approve the project, and the joint World Heritage Center ICMOS reactor monitoring mission finally took place in April 2018. The context of 2-year delay made this mission quite challenging and complex. The mission found that the project had in fact been planned as early as 2007, and that until the World Heritage Center's request for information in October 2015, the state party failed to inform the World Heritage Committee of the project, despite the provisions of paragraph 172 of the operational guidelines. The state party did not inform the 2012 reactor monitoring mission to the property of this project, although at that time the property had then been on the list of World Heritage in danger. Since 2000, nor was the project being mentioned in Section 2 of the second cycle of periodical reporting, which took place in 2011-2012 in the region of Asia and the Pacific. Furthermore, the project was carried out without an adequate heritage impact assessment, and the study produced by the state party in April 2016, 9 years after the inception of the project, was not in line with the international recommended standards for such studies, notably the 2011 ICMOS guidelines, and hence failed to address the full range of impacts of the project on the OUV of the property. This study makes no mention of the noise and the pollution impacts on the property, and it fails to take into account the full range of impacts of all elements of the component sites. The HIA concluded that the metro line will only have temporary impacts, while during its operation phase, the high visual, noise, and the vibration impacts recognized on the entrance and front facade of the site will be prominent and cumulative but indirect. Next slide. Lahore is a city with 12 million residents, and there is doubtlessly a need for improved public transport. However, the impact assessment fails to take into account views from inside and outside the gardens. The viaduct passed so close to the southern wall of the gardens that no measure can eliminate the negative effect on the main perspectives to and from the property. Where the curved shape of the viaduct slightly reduces its visual impact, the height of the train as it passes will be about 3 meters higher than the top flange of the constructed viaduct visible on the screen. You can see the person standing just on the viaduct. Today, what dominates the site is not the facade of the Shalimar Gardens, but the Orange Line Metro Viaduct, which has altered the authenticity and integrity of the exterior appearance of the Shalimar Gardens, and where the existing heritage impact assessment identified some mitigation actions, the road and the location should have been determined in such a way that they avoided any impact on the features of the Shalimar Gardens. The 2018 mission found that several proposals to that effect had been made, but were eventually rejected. The visual impact of the new construction on the main perspectives to and from the property can clearly be seen on the pictures taken during the mission and shown on the screens. In addition, once the Orange Line metro is in operation, its noise will add significantly to the already substantial noise and the pollution impacts of the Grand Trunk Road, which passes underneath the viaduct in front of the property. Despite being the masterpiece of Mughal construction, the gardens will be less and less an oasis of peace and tranquility, as was their intended purpose, and thus increasingly lose their ability to convey the full OUV of this component site. As highlighted in the conclusions of the 2018 mission, there is no doubt that the Orange Line metro has negative impact on the attributes of OUV relating to the artistic and aesthetic accomplishments highlighted as the property was inscribed at the time of inscription. It is especially regrettable that such impact could have been avoided if the alternative routes presented to the 2018 reactor monitoring mission had been pursued in due time and in consultation with the World Heritage Center and the advisory bodies. In accordance with the conclusions of the 2018 mission, it is suggested that the committee place the property on the list of World Heritage in danger. This will allow the state party to show its goodwill by immediately proceeding with the implementation of all mitigation measures and recommendations put forward by the mission in an effort to mitigate the considerable impact of the project on the OUV of the property, and notably its integrity and authenticity. Next slide. The reactor monitoring mission put forward an exhaustive series of recommended measures to help mitigate negative impacts and ensure that the property benefits from adequate protection, notably within the buffer zone. ECOMOS will provide more details in this regard. For these mitigation measures to be successful, it is of crucial importance that the state party submit detailed project studies to the World Heritage Center for review by the advisory bodies, and their implementation only start after positive feedback has been received. Finally, let me note that in response to the report of the 2018 reactor monitoring mission, the World Heritage Center received comments from the State Party of Pakistan on 15th of June last, and on today, a meeting was held between the Assistant Director General of Culture and Director of the World Heritage Center with the Pakistan delegation in order to discuss the case ahead of the present session and response to comments made by the State Party. Madam Chairperson, dear committee members, the draft decision 42-COM 7B12 can be found on page 9 of both language versions and is also displayed on the screen. With your permission, Madam Chairperson, ECOMOS will provide further comments on this property. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please go ahead, ECOMOS.
Thank you, Madam Chair. ECOMOS greatly regrets the highly negative impacts on the OUV of the property resulting from the construction of the Orange Metro line directly in front of the south side of the gardens. It's important to recall that the Shalimar Gardens, along with Lahore Fort, were inscribed under Criterion 1 as outstanding examples of Mughal art. The Shalimar Gardens, constructed by Shah Jahan in 1641, were seen to bear witness to the apogee of Mughal artistic expression. An important aspect of the garden was its enclosing walls, which were to separate them from the outside world and allow the inside to be an oasis of peace and tranquility. The metro line now not only impacts on views of the gardens from outside the gates, but also inside from both its upper and lower terraces. And the noise will add to the noise of the Grand Trunk Road and increase pollution. The current development does not respect the essence of this masterpiece as an earthly utopia within which people have the opportunity to move in perfect harmony with the elements of nature. The Metro project has negated that original vision. In its State of Conservation report, the State Party explains that as they considered that there was no impact on outstanding universal value, that is why no notification was made under paragraph 172 of the operational guidelines. ICOMOS considers that for all major infrastructure projects, such as the Orange Metro line, details should be provided so that an assessment can be submitted to the committee, who are otherwise unaware of such projects, and it is for them to decide on potential impact on OUV. Had notification been made in 2007, when planning was started, we would have had 8 years of dialogue to discuss the details of the project with the State Party and to find a way for the Metro line so that it did not impact on outstanding universal value. There was a further missed opportunity for dialogue with the 2-year delay in inviting the mission, which was only done after the project had been given formal approval to proceed. By the time the mission was carried out, it was only able to see the almost completed project, and there was no opportunity to intervene when there was still time to influence the outcome. The mission and this presentation to the committee are thus both in a way too late. The construction work has had irreversible impact on the attributes of outstanding universal value that were identified at the time of inscription. Full mitigation is not possible. For those reasons, ICOMOS supports the decision to inscribe the property on the World Heritage List in danger. In order to help mitigate some of the highly negative impacts, and only some, of the metro, as recommended by the Reactive Monitoring Mission, the draft decision requests the State Party to take a new approach to the protection and conservation of the setting. And details of these are visible on the screen. The measures include installing soundproof glass around the metro line, diverting the Grand Trunk Road away from the property and lowering its level, and creating a green belt around the property, especially around its southern entrance. Some of these measures can be realized in the short term. We are quite aware that others will need much longer time for implementation. These measures must be carefully designed and submitted for review in order to understand just how successful they might be at mitigating the impact, and they also should be integrated into a set of corrective measures. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. And now, if you have any comment or inquiries, I will give the floor now to Azerbaijan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, we would like to thank the Secretariat for this comprehensive overview of the present case pertaining to Shalimar Gardens. We appreciate the engagement of the World Heritage Center and ICOMOS in preservation of the twin listings, which are a marvel of Mughal architecture. We have studied this case carefully and are pleased to note that, as per the decision taken in Krakow last year, Pakistan has shared the visual impact assessment along with the State of Conservation report within the stipulated timeframes, along with having invited the reactive monitoring mission in December 2017. We consider the present case as being one of the maintaining the balance between the conservation of heritage and sustainable development. This is something that we are advocating for several years, and we debated thoroughly in our previous discussions. It's our firm belief that human well-being should not be compromised and rather these two issues of preservation of heritage and development, sustainable development, should coexist harmoniously. However, while the developmental deficit needs to be bridged, we believe that the developmental mandate must be carried out consciously with social, cultural, and environmental sensitivities. Pakistan has shown consideration to all these aspects in planning and executing the metro project, including exhaustive technical studies and assessments which inform the project in planning and implementation phases. Furthermore, given the Supreme Court of Pakistan has provided a detailed judgment allowing the project to go ahead, further strengthens the mission and mandate of our committee. The 31 directions that are detailed in the judgment largely are linked to preservation and conservation of this property and are legally binding on State Party. State Party has given repeated assurance that all 31 directives directed by the Supreme Court are all practicable and reasonable mitigation measures proposed by the reactive monitoring mission, along with all other mitigation measures suggested in various studies, will be implemented. When we have a state party that is already applying relevant mitigation measures and is already constructively engaged with the World Heritage Center, we see no justification in taking an extreme step of listing this property in danger list. There is a clear commitment and readiness of the state party to continue dialogue with advisory bodies with a view to put in place all these practical mitigation measures. Moreover, we do not understand why the committee keeps receiving the same reservations from the advisory bodies as though that have been repeatedly discussed, debated, and struck out in past two sessions. We believe that instead of remaining stuck in the same loop, echoing past 2-year decisions, it would be much more advisable to stick to the previous decisions of the committee and to move to the substantive issues at the hand. Therefore, we do not support the danger listing of Shalimar Gardens as mitigation measures that are being put in place by Pakistan aim to preserve the OUV of the property, especially because in the light of various studies undertaken by the state party, there is no unmitigatable consequences on OUV of the property, so thereby there is no justification of listing the site on danger list. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I now give the floor to Brazil.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. The Brazilian delegation understands that the case we are now analyzing offers us another example of the challenge of conciliating urban development and the preservation of World Heritage sites in developing countries specifically. In the case we are analyzing, we also are dealing with a country with very heavy demographic pressure. We understand that sustainable solutions are urgently required to avoid further damage to the site. And we encourage the state party to take into consideration the recommendations made by ICOMOS, especially the measures that can be undertaken in order to safeguard the integrity and authenticity of the site. We consider that prioritizing the protection of the outstanding universal value of this site requires an approach that goes beyond strictly aesthetical features, and that it is important to elaborate conceptual terms to foster synergies for the transmission of the values attributed to the protected site. The Brazilian delegation understands that to the state party concerned could be given more time so that recommendations made by the monitoring mission to the site can be implemented, taking into account technical and social realities on the ground. Therefore, we are of the opinion that it would be premature to inscribe this site on the list of the World Heritage in danger, and we are ready to present specific amendments, if needed, during the examination of the corresponding draft decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now I give the floor to China, please. China.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. We would like to appreciate the good work done by WHC and advisory bodies, and we share their vision of conservation of heritage as framed in the 1972 Convention. We would also like to thank the Secretariat for their report and the brief resume of the case before us. Having carefully perused all the relevant documents, we fully support Azerbaijan that the government of Pakistan has taken into account all aspects of conservation of heritage and the preservation of outstanding universal value as being at the core of the planning and the implementation phase of the metro project. This is amply demonstrated by the numerous studies undertaken by Pakistan before implementation of the project. It may be useful to understand who undertook the studies and what their main findings are. In the same way, it is our understanding that these studies have indicated that there is no unmitigatable impact on outstanding universal value of the property, including its integrity and authenticity. We would like to request the state party to brief the committee to understand the matter further. We are content to note that the visual impact study has been shared timely with the WHC along with the state conservation report. As such reports provide a sound basis of making an informed decision. We would like to request the Secretariat to share these along with the previously undertaken heritage impact assessment with committee members. Pakistan Supreme Court's decision in the matter that allowed the project to go ahead with after detailed deliberations spreading over a year, which included the independent re-verification of various studies undertaken by state party, is also a welcome development. Furthermore, having gone through the proceedings of the case over the last 2 years, we believe that there is a need to build on the earlier decisions of the WHC taken during the last 2 sessions. Many issues that recur here are the ones that have been repeatedly discussed in the past sessions, and we need to move beyond these settled debates to discuss the case on its present merits. Lastly, again, echoing the views expressed by Azerbaijan, we believe that given the commitment of the state party to implement all practicable mitigation measures, there is no justification for taking this extreme measure of placing the property on the endangered list. I thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I give the floor to Tunisia.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Cet exemple nous rappelle que, hélas, c'est un cas d'occasion manquée de dialogue fructueux et franc entre des États parties et les organisations consultatives qui aurait permis d'éviter d'en arriver à cette extrémité, c'est-à-dire de proposer l'inscription d'un bien sur la liste du patrimoine en péril. 2. La Tunisie rappelle que l'inscription sur la liste du patrimoine en péril n'est pas une sanction, mais dans beaucoup de cas, elle permet de participer à améliorer la conservation d'un bien et la pérennisation de sa valeur universelle exceptionnelle. L'État partie, depuis les décisions du comité, fournit des efforts pour atténuer les impacts et les effets négatifs des travaux qui ont été réalisés. Sur ce point, j'aimerais avoir plus de précision de la part de l'État partie sur les efforts qu'il est en train de fournir et l'avis de l'UCOMOS, est-ce que réellement et concrètement ces efforts effectués ou à effectuer vont réellement contribuer à atténuer les impacts négatifs sur le bien? Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. Uganda, please.
Madam Chair, thank you for giving my delegation the opportunity to express views on the draft decision pertaining to Orange Metro project and its possible impact on Shalama Gardens. As the co-sponsor of the amendments proposed jointly with Azerbaijan, China, Indonesia, and Cuba, we believe that the World Heritage Committee should build on its earlier decisions taken during the 40th and 41st sessions. We need to acknowledge the efforts of Pakistan and its readiness to undertake practical measures to mitigate minor adverse impacts. Madam Chairperson, it is important to give an opportunity to Pakistan to explain its position and respond to issues being raised in the debate. We therefore request the state party to be given that opportunity. Chair Lady, whereas the World Heritage Committee is mandated to oversee the protection of this heritage site, it should not be oblivious of the requirements of state parties to undertake projects aimed at uplifting the quality of life of its people. Orange Metro project, which has been envisaged to meet the transport requirements of Lahore city, a home to 12 million residents, and second largest city of Pakistan, is one such project. Pakistan has conducted a number of assessment studies prior to the execution of the project, which indicate no significant or unmitigatable impacts on the OUV of the property. We have been informed that the state party is committed to implement all practical recommendations of the reactive monitoring mission. In our view, therefore, we should not burden the state party to implement some of its recommendations which have social and technical constraints, such as shifting of 250-year-old road and constructing a new motorway in an area which is quickly inhabited by people for the past ages. Hence, Madam Chairperson, similar to a previous case of Uzbekistan, we do not recommend danger listing in this matter. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I give the floor to Burkina Faso.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Ma délégation joint sa voix à celle de l'Ouganda pour reconnaître que depuis la 41e session du comité, l'État parti du Pakistan a fourni des efforts pour respecter les 3 décisions prises par le comité, entre autres en fournissant une étude d'impact visuel, un rapport sur l'état de conservation et en montrant sa disponibilité à accueillir une mission de suivi et évaluation réactif. Si en 2016, l'État parti n'avait pas fourni des informations sur la gestion du bien, en 2017 et 2018, par contre, il a pris des précautions, y compris l'achèvement de 10 études techniques qui ont été entreprises avant la mise en œuvre du projet de construction de la voie, objet de contestation. En outre, les observations faites au point 3, 4, 5 et 6 du projet de décision ont déjà été discutées et prises en compte lors des 2 précédentes sessions du comité en 2016 et 2017, et des mesures nécessaires ont été prises en compte par l'État partie dans ce cadre. Aucune autre étude n'a montré de dommages irréversibles depuis lors. Notons que le Pakistan a montré son engagement à continuer en faveur de la conservation du patrimoine, notamment dans la collaboration avec le Centre du patrimoine mondial. Il s'est engagé en outre, entre autres, à tenir compte des mesures d'atténuation proposées par les missions de suivi réactif ainsi que le jugement détaillé de la Cour suprême du Pakistan qui énonce 31 mesures d'atténuation complète que l'État partie est légalement tenu de respecter. Madame la Présidente, dans le cas présent, il s'agit de rechercher l'équilibre entre la conservation du patrimoine et le développement durable. Le Pakistan est un pays en développement et c'est l'un de ses premiers projets de transport en commun de cette envergure. Nous pensons que lorsqu'il sera opérationnel, le métro réduira la lourde charge sur la route qui passe devant le bien et augmentera donc son attractivité touristique. La valeur universelle exceptionnelle ne saurait de ce fait diminuer avec les mesures de précaution et de conservation qui seront prises. En ce qui concerne la pollution visuelle relevée par les évaluations, les études d'experts ont indiqué qu'il est facile d'atténuer en plantant des arbres le long de la voie du métro pour harmoniser les jardins. Le Pakistan s'engage à planter donc les arbres pré-cultivés le long de cette piste pour y remédier. Pour toutes ces raisons, Madame la Présidente, la recommandation de placer la propriété sur la liste du patrimoine en danger nous paraît une étape extrême. C'est pourquoi ma délégation appuie la position de l'Azerbaïdjan, du Brésil et de la Chine concernant justement son retrait et sa non-inscription sur la liste du patrimoine en danger. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. And now the floor is Tanzania.
Madam Chair, the United Republic of Tanzania commends the State Party of Pakistan for its efforts to protect, conserve the forts and Shalimar Garden in Lahore, despite the intensive urban development pressure. Tanzania also commends the World Heritage Center and Advisory Body for a detailed draft decision, which clearly indicates the complexity of dealing with the management of urban heritage in a development world. Madam Chair, the delegation of Tanzania has carefully examined the fact and opinion of both the State Party of Pakistan and Advisory Body, which contradict sharply. For example, with regarding to the visual impact of the Orange Line Metro project, which need to be resolved before implication in the decision. Madam Chair, the delegation of Tanzania commend that prior to danger listing, the State Party, in consultation with World Heritage Center and Advisory Body, identify the corrective measures and develop desired state of conservation for the removal of the property from the list of the World Heritage in danger as per paragraph 183 and 12189 of the operation guideline. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now the floor is for Norway.
Madam Chair, this case emphasizes the delicate balance between preservation that includes setting, atmosphere, and visual sites, and the need to control urban pressure and development by means of infrastructure projects that, on one hand, positively will contribute to a better traffic situation, but, on the other hand, are too close and poses negative impact on the cultural heritage at stake. Norway shares the concern expressed by the World Heritage Center and ICAMOS that the project for the Orange Metro line never became subject to information through the mechanisms detailed in the operational guidelines. We encourage the state party to undertake actions to implement the mitigation actions as specified in the draft decision. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Now the floor is for Australia, please. Australia.
Thank you, Chair. It's quite obvious to Australia, as outlined in the opening presentation, that much of the damage to the outstanding universal value of the Shalimar Gardens has been done. And it's regrettable that the State Party during that period was not actively engaged with the World Heritage Committee or fully cognizant of its responsibilities to protect the outstanding universal value of the property. Very conscious of the need for Pakistan to meet the needs of its people as it grows and develops. And we encourage the State Party to continue to find ways to ensure that the outstanding universal value of the property is as little impacted as possible. We do hear what colleagues have said about the more recent willingness and efforts of Pakistan to address the concerns that have been expressed by the World Heritage Committee in relation to impacts on this property. And in that regard, we would certainly welcome hearing the State Party's response to some of these issues, and including, if it's able to indicate whether any of the mitigation measures that have been proposed in the draft decision are mitigation measures that it is willing to contemplate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now the floor is for Indonesia.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. First of all, I would like to thank the WHC and ICOMOS for a detailed briefing on the case. We would like to align our views with those expressed by our colleagues, distinguished colleagues from Azerbaijan and China, and we are happy to note that all three decisions of the 41st session of WHC have been complied with, including timely submission of the States of Conservation Report and the visual impact study. We are particularly content to note that the reactive monitoring mission has visited Lahore in April 2018. We commend Pakistan for engaging with the WHC process despite the extreme paucity of reaction time available to them. Hence, we are satisfied that Pakistan is doing its utmost to preserve the integrity and authenticity of the property, as at the time of its inscription in 1981, having been included under Criterion 3, that is bearing exceptional testimony of Mughal civilization at its peak, as an artificial landscape of sprawling, marvelous gardens enclosed within walls of red sandstone. We believe that in their present state, in view of the mitigation measures that are being undertaken by the State Party, and given the willingness of the State Party to remain engaged with WHC and ICOMOS process with a common goal of preservation and conservation, we join other colleagues in their support not to put the property on the in-danger list at this moment. Echoing what our colleagues from China has just suggested, we think that now is a good chance to invite the State Party to present their case, particularly the efforts that has been undertaken in the past 2 years and their future plans to implement their mitigation measures. I thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Now the floor for Cuba, please.
Gracias, señora presidenta. En los últimos años hemos visto cómo se ha hecho realidad lo que era una presión al sitio, hoy sin duda un impacto visual indeseado. La buena noticia tal vez está precisamente en el análisis y la información que se nos da por el órgano consultivo y por la Secretaría en cuanto a una serie de medidas que nos parece sería muy interesante de poder valorar. Creo que la clave está precisamente en los resultados de esa misión reactiva realizada en el 2018 y por lo tanto me gustaría conocer de la voz del Estado parte la disposición y las condiciones, la capacidad para poder asumir esa serie de recomendaciones. Por nuestra parte, estamos apoyando una modificación al proyecto de resolución para que el sitio no sea todavía inscrito en la lista en peligro. Gracias.
Thank you very much. Now I give the floor to Kuwait.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We also very concerned about the integrity of the site and the recommendation and the concern of the advisory board and the experts for the site. Meanwhile, also we understand a lot of countries, especially large populated countries, they are indeed for the development, and one of the major issues, as we see in all international conferences and meetings, is your public transportation. Sometimes those might be visual obstruction, but they solve a lot of public transportation, a lot of solution existed in a lot of the cities. And we see there is some recommendation, and those recommendations have been adopted. It might ease those quote unquote those visual issues. The state of Kuwait also strongly recommended and engaged the state parties with the expertise to come up with some solution to ease and to solve this issue. But we are strongly understand the site should not be in the endangered list. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you very much. Now the floor is for Kyrgyzstan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will be very brief, just to say that we support the amendments proposed by Azerbaijan, China, and other state parties, and also supported by other distinguished colleagues. And this amendment focuses more on mitigation measures to ensure the preservation, protection, and conservation of outstanding universal value. And we should also note that the report of reactive monitoring mission was submitted in June, and the report has made certain recommendations, and we understand there should be time and that Pakistan will implement all possible actions suggested by this report. And also the court has directed the government to implement 31 measures to ensure that no negative impact is caused to the property, and therefore it would be too early to decide and to put the property in the danger list.
Thank you very much. Now the floor is for Spain. Please, Spain.
Muchas gracias, señora presidenta. Yo me sumo a la preocupación que ha sido expresada por otras delegaciones respecto a la importancia de preservar este sitio único escrito en la lista de patrimonio mundial y la complejidad también de compaginarlo con el necesario desarrollo sostenible para atender a las expectativas y necesidades de la población. Quizás lo que más me preocupa al escuchar las distintas intervenciones en este comité es que, como decía la delegación de Túnez, nos estamos olvidando de una parte fundamental del todo el procedimiento, que es el diálogo con el Centro de Patrimonio, el diálogo con los organismos evaluadores. Nos estamos olvidando de las propias directrices que nos hemos dado a nosotros mismos, como la recogida en el 172. Nos estamos olvidando también que hay una serie de recomendaciones que se hacen a través de las misiones de monitoreo y que también tenemos que ir cumpliendo. Yo creo que más allá de las medidas que a nivel nacional todos los Estados miembros adoptamos con seriedad y con interés por la protección de nuestros sitios a nivel nacional, es fundamental tener en cuenta toda esta construcción alrededor de la Convención del 72 que nos permite una mejor protección de los sitios. Ahora de lo que se trata es de ver qué medidas adicionales podemos tomar para mitigar el impacto de esta infraestructura y cómo podemos con ellas, en ese diálogo con el Centro de Patrimonio, lograr que el efecto de esta nueva infraestructura se reduzca y nos permita conservar el valor excepcional, universal de este sitio inscrito en la Lista Mundial de Patrimonio. Muchísimas gracias, señora presidenta.
Thank you very much. And now the floor is for Angola.
Madame la Présidente, l'Angola est consciente des risques potentiels qui pèsent sur la VUE de ces biens. Et comme nous ne cessons de le dire, quand un État membre fait des efforts d'inscrire un bien sur la liste du patrimoine mondial, il s'efforce à les garder sur la liste pour déjà la dignité du peuple de ces pays. Et quand nous sommes face à des situations aussi dramatiques comme celle-là, nous devons toutefois essayer de trouver des compromis qui pourraient aider l'État partie à continuer à faire des efforts pour pouvoir maintenir la veille du bien. Par contre, nous avons également pris note qu'il y a une série de recommandations proposées par les organisations consultatives qui certainement pourraient demander beaucoup plus d'efforts de la part de l'État partie. Et nous avons également pris note qu'il y a eu des consultations entre l'État partie et le centre et les organisations consultatives, dont nous sommes quand même curieux de savoir comment l'État partie se positionne par rapport à toutes ces consultations et aux recommandations qu'ils ont reçues. Donc nous voudrions vous demander que vous puissiez accorder la parole à l'État partie pour nous apporter des éclaircissements qui pourront aider donc le comité à prendre la meilleure décision sur ces cas. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. Now the floor is for Bahrain, please. Bahrain.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to reflect on some of the discussions by fellow committee members, we would also like to encourage the dialogue to continue between the Secretariat, ECOMOS and the State Party. It seems that the majority of the committee members are in favor of not listing the property in the list of danger. I think it's important for us as well to take a closer look on the 31 directions referred to by the Supreme Court closely and to ensure that these recommendations are actually addressing the OUV of the property and not just the heritage of the area in general. I think this is a very critical element, and I'm hoping that the committee would take that into consideration when we refer back to the draft decision. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now the floor for Zimbabwe, please. Zimbabwe.
Thank you very much, Madam. Zimbabwe supports the proposition by Azerbaijan not to inscribe the site of Fort and Shalimar Gardens in Lahore on the World Heritage List in danger. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I give the floor to the State Party to answer the question and the comment. The floor now is for Pakistan.
Madam Chair, thank you very much for the opportunity to address this August gathering. Before I respond specifically to some of the issues that have been raised, I'd like to, by way of background, link you to the last 2 years of discussions that have been held and the considerations of various aspects of this project before the WHC, both in Istanbul as well as in Krakow. But before I say anything, let me reiterate and reaffirm Pakistan's unwavering commitment to the protection, preservation, and conservation of our heritage. This august body may recall that World Heritage Committee, in its 41st session at Krakow, required mainly 3 important follow-up actions by Pakistan. Accordingly, 1, the state of conservation report of the Shalimar Gardens was to be submitted before 1st of February 2018 as required, but it was submitted accordingly well before the deadline. 2, the visual impact assessment study was furnished to the World Heritage Center in November 2017, that is before the deadline of 1st December 2017 fixed by the World Heritage Committee at Krakow. 3, the reactive monitoring mission was invited on 14th December 2017, that is immediately after the judgment of the Supreme Court of Pakistan, announced as decided by the World Heritage Committee. This action was also completed accordingly. Madam Chair, the Honorable Supreme Court rendered its judgment in this case on the 8th of December, giving 31 specific directions for protection, preservation, and conservation of the property. We are legally bound to comply with all of those directions in letter and spirit. And I would just facilitate the consideration of this august body that all of these directions pertain to and for ensuring the protection, preservation, conservation, and protection of the outstanding universal value of the property. All of the recommendations are to that effect, which we will implement. We also assured the committee that all mitigation measures proposed by all of the studies will also be implemented. Despite our invitation dated 14th December 2017, the reactive monitoring mission was able to carry out the visit in April 2018. Its report was received by us on the 13th June, leaving us very little time to examine it in detail. In this limited time, we hurriedly reviewed the report and intimated some of the factual errors to the World Heritage Center on the 15th of June 2018. We wish to point out here that the international consultants took 1 year to complete the visual impact study, assessment study as required by the World Heritage Committee. The study concludes, and I quote, that the authenticity, the visual integrity, and the outstanding universal value of the property are not significantly impacted by the metro train project if corrective measures are applied, like installation of vegetation screens. I would underscore the importance of this because there are minimal visual impacts created on the property, particularly from inside and to some extent from the outside. And this is the considered recommendation of the visual impact study, which was conducted by an international consultant over a 1 year period. We are a little surprised to know as to on what basis a short-term reactive monitoring mission of 6 days makes a sweeping statement to the effect that the project has irreversible impacts on the attributes of its OUV. Madam Chair, in any case, we will carry out a detailed examination of the report and stand committed to implement all that is doable. In terms of protective and mitigation measures, Pakistan is legally bound to implement the Supreme Court's decision. All mitigation and protective measures proposed in all of the studies of the project, like heritage impact assessment, visual impact assessment, environmental impact assessment, vibration analysis, noise, etc., we are fully committed to implement the recommendations of the reactive monitoring mission also within the realm of practicality and doability. Some of the issues that have been highlighted pertaining to noise pollution, vibration, these are all taken care of in our studies, and these are also mandated by the Supreme Court. I may just illustrate one example, that in terms of noise, the Supreme Court has directed that the speed of the train in front of this property will be reduced to a point where the noise levels do not rise to a level where it can pose any kind of danger to the property. The vibration analysis, according to the international standards, are well within that safe range, both during construction phase, which is over. It never even crossed 50% of the allowable limit. In the operation phase, which is far less than 50%. Madam Chair, we would like to assure this committee that this property, which has been inscribed on the World Heritage, we have extreme sensitivity to it. And one of the illustrations of that is that the picture before you shows that sharp curve that we have created to take the viaduct of the train away from the property. This involved special designing, etc., some extra costs, which were not an issue for the government of Punjab and Pakistan, to ensure that the property is not affected in any adverse manner. At this time, the way it is executed, there is no negative impact on the OUV of the property, which cannot be mitigated. But once again, I will reassure you that once we go back from here, we will have a detailed examination of other recommendations of the committee, of the Reactive Monitoring Mission, and we assure this august body that unless something is absolutely impossible to undertake, again, where we will share our constraints with the center as well as the advisory bodies, we will try our best to implement everything that is being suggested.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And now I give the floor to the NGO, please, representative.
Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, Honorable Chair, Sheikh Khalifa Al Khalifa, and respected colleagues. We deeply appreciate and fully endorse the RMM evaluation and the WHC draft decision, which unequivocally states irreversible damage to the OUV, which says that the state party's reporting does not in any way reflect the reality on site. In fact, the viaduct is directly above the hydraulic tank, which is an integral part of the WHS. The Supreme Court case was illegally used by the state party as a delaying tactic. The credibility of the state party to implement anything is in doubt. We deeply regret and condemn the continued willful resistance to invite the RMM and deliberate misrepresentation of technical and legal facts by the state party in the last 2 years. The state party has suggested mitigation measures which are superficial and irrelevant. No mitigation measure has been made. The transport requirements, this train, which is costing us $3.8 billion, serves less than 1.5% of the population, and the original plan was underground. The state party SOC 17 and 18 do not mention the new concrete kitchen structure for a restaurant built within the Lahore fort. It is illegal and should be removed. We deeply regret that both these cases display a serious transgression and pattern of non-adherence to the convention. All mitigation measures proposed by the RMM must be implemented. In fact, all on-ground traffic should be taken underground. Today, we are left with no choice but to raise a critical question. Where is the integrity and authenticity we talk about? This is a model precedent on how the process was derailed and must never happen again. Today, we come here to speak truth to power. We request all committee members to take this into cognizance. We have seen the amendments and we are shocked. And it is important not to take political decisions that clearly undermine the technical evaluations and the critical value of the RMM, WHC, and advisory bodies. The process needs to reclaim its credibility. And so it is imperative to create a formal mechanism to include civil society in the process for objective and transparent evaluations. Today, the people of Pakistan stand tall with dignity and pride for UNESCO, for the World Heritage Center, for the committees, for the committee, the advisory bodies, and the center. May we all work together with information that is based on technical facts. Thank you.
You took 1 minute more. Thank you very much. And now I give the floor to the rapporteur, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. As it has been already acknowledged during the discussions, we have received amendments on this draft decision. We have received amendments from Azerbaijan, China, Cuba, Indonesia, and Uganda, and we have also received 1 amendment from Spain for an additional paragraph. As you know, in the original decision, this property is proposed for inscription on the list of World Heritage in Danger, and in the proposal for modification by the group of countries, it is proposed that this property does not get inscribed on the list of World Heritage in Danger. Before we begin, Madam Chair, may I just suggest, first of all, a small technical correction in paragraph 2, because the usual way of referring to previous sessions, as you can see, is we put the venue of the committee, comma, and the year. So if we could just amend and say Krakow, yes, thank you, 2017. Thank you very much. So the proposal, I will run through the proposal. So Spain is proposing to add a new paragraph acknowledging the decision of the Supreme Court. And then we have the proposal of Azerbaijan, China, Cuba, and Indonesia, Uganda, for paragraphs 4 and 7 to be deleted. And then we have a proposal for a redrafted paragraph 5 to acknowledge implementation of mitigation measure and to request close monitoring and implementation of measures directed in the order of the Supreme Court. And then we have the proposal for paragraph 9 to 12 to be deleted. And then we have a slightly modified paragraph 13. And then we have the proposal for all of paragraph 14 to be deleted. And then we have a slightly amended paragraph 15. And if I may ask for just 1 moment, if you could scroll back to new paragraph 5. I have a small, thank you. I have a small suggestion, as it is the first time that we see the abbreviation OLMTP in the text. If we could just write out Orange Line Metro Train Project and put OLMTP in brackets. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Madam Chair. These are the amendments that we have received.
Thank you very much. Now I give the floor to Norway, please. Norway.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Norway commends the state party for taking steps to replace heavy vehicle traffic with efficient public transport. And we think every big city, wherever it is in the world, should do so in accordance with the goals for sustainable development. Norway is comfortable with postponing the decision of putting the site on the list of World Heritage in Danger and to revisit this case in 1 year. However, we feel that corrective measures should be in place as listed in paragraph 14 in the draft decision. And furthermore, we agree with Spain in that we need to remember past decisions made by this committee. Consequently, we would prefer the text in the draft decision with the exceptions of paragraphs 11 and 12 that should be deleted or rephrased accordingly. And we also accept the deletion of paragraphs 5 and 6 as stated in the amendment made by Azerbaijan and other countries. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Now I give the floor to Australia, please.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Norway took the words out of my mouth, so thank you, Norway. We are generally comfortable with the the draft decision as amended, but would also like to see the corrective measures identified retained in the decision that the committee takes. As we heard the distinguished representative from Pakistan outline, they are committed to implementing as best they possibly can all of the recommendations of the reactive monitoring mission, and therefore we think it's appropriate that those corrective measures identified in the draft decision should be retained.
Thank you very much. Okay, now I give the floor to Spain, please. Spain.
Muchas gracias, señora presidenta. Como dije, creo que es importante recordar el cumplimiento de las directrices 182, que es decir, que todos los Estados miembros comuniquemos cuando vayamos a hacer cualquier tipo de infraestructura, lo comuniquemos al centro, y por eso nos gustaría que se retuviera el párrafo 4, así como otros párrafos que han señalado la delegación de Noruega. No nos importa que se borre tampoco el párrafo 5, pero sí creemos que es necesario que se haga referencia a las medidas de amortiguamiento de los efectos de dicha construcción. Hemos introducido la referencia a la sentencia, puesto que en la misma hay también otras medidas posibles que han sido consideradas por la Corte Suprema de Pakistán y, por tanto, cuanto más medidas se adopten para mitigar dichos efectos, pensamos que ello redundará en una mejora de la protección del bien. No tenemos ningún inconveniente en que se reporte la decisión respecto a la inclusión de la lista en la lista de bienes en peligro. Muchísimas gracias, señora presidenta.
Thank you. I give the floor now to Azerbaijan. Excuse me, Brazil first, and then.
I have a point of order, actually. Point of order.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just for the sake of to facilitating your task and our work, I would suggest to go paragraph by paragraph, and then it will facilitate us to respond to certain concerns raised by several committee members. So I think it would be much more easy for us to guide the work.
Thank you. Brazil, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. We would like to support the proposal made by Spain in paragraph 4, because we think it conciliates both of our positions here, which are the non-inscription of the site in the list in danger, and to recognize the efforts that have been undertaken by the state party in order to implement the recommendations made by the advisory body. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, you can go paragraph by paragraph.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So paragraph 1 and 2 and 3 remain unchanged. And then we have a proposal for a new paragraph 4 by Spain, supported by Brazil, which I will now read out.
Okay, we adopt paragraph by paragraph. And when we adopt one paragraph, that means we will not go back and discuss it. It will be final.
Thank you. So I apologize, and then we will take it over from the top. So paragraph 1 has just been adopted. So paragraph 2 remains unchanged.
Paragraph 2,
yes.
Unchanged.
And then we have paragraph 3, also unchanged.
Paragraph 3, unchanged.
And then we have a proposal for a new paragraph 4 by Spain, supported by Brazil, which would read, takes further note of the decision of the Honorable Supreme Court of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan that has given 31 directions with regard to protection, preservation, and conservation of the property.
Azerbaijan, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Azerbaijan fully supports this proposal, and we think that it would be very good to take note of the decision of the Supreme Court that the Pakistan is legally binding.
China, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. China also supports this phrase. Thank you.
Tunisia, please.
Madame la Présidente, la Tunisie soutient aussi cette proposition.
Cuba, please.
Señora Presidenta, Cuba también soporta esta propuesta.
Thank you. Uganda, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Uganda also supports.
Thank you. Indonesia, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Indonesia also supports the paragraph 4. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any objection? No objection. So we will adopt chapter 4.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Then we have former paragraph 4, which is proposed for complete deletion. Thank you.
Any comments? Spain, please.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Como he dicho hace unos instantes, a España le gustaría que se mantuviera la referencia a la importancia de cumplir con las directrices que nos damos en este comité y la necesaria información al mismo de las decisiones que se toman y que pueden impactar en el valor universal excepcional de los bienes inscritos. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you. Norway, please.
Yes, as stated earlier, we agree with Spain in this one. We believe the paragraph should be kept.
Thank you. Azerbaijan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The reason of amendment to delete this paragraph is very obvious. This matter extensively discussed and debated in the last sessions of the World Heritage Committee in Istanbul and in Krakow. It is obvious that reporting under the paragraph 172 is obligatory when restorations or new constructions may affect the OUV. In this case, when there was multiple studies, starting with the environmental impact assessment, heritage impact assessment, visual impact assessment, detailed vibration analysis, both for construction and operational phases, this all assessment made, as also stated by the distinguished colleague from Pakistan, made by the international consultants, have not indicated any adverse impact on the OUV of the property. So the critical attributes of the property OUV, including the plan of the garden and its terraces, the water tanks, design and decorative features, are remained. None of these OUV-bearing attributes will be directly or indirectly impacted by this Orange Line metro line. So consequently, reporting of this Orange metro line to World Heritage Center under the paragraph 172 was not required as discussed in the previous session. That was the reason why we proposed the deletion of this paragraph. So we remain in our position to delete this paragraph. Thank you.
Thank you. Australia, please.
I would have a different view on this one from my distinguished colleague from Azerbaijan. I think on all of the information that's been presented in the papers for the committee, I think it is quite reasonable to conclude that there have been impacts on the property, and therefore we would align with the preference of Spain and Norway for this paragraph to be retained.
Thank you very much. Is there any other comments? China, please. China, please.
My apologies. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm in support of Ambassador of Azerbaijan for the reason that has been he gave for the deletion. Just in case that we could not reach agreement on this particular paragraph with colleagues from Spain, Norway, and Australia, perhaps we should draft something new, indicating that perhaps from a more positive tone, that requesting the future, any of the future development or implementation of mitigation measures should be in compliance with the requirement or under the guidelines. Perhaps something in that line, then it's with reference to future rather than a reference to what happened already. It doesn't really help if we only dwell on the past, but rather we should be forward-looking. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bahrain, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't think we're dwelling on the past. I think it is a fact that has been stated by the World Heritage Center that such information hasn't been received. So I really don't see any means of reinterpreting that other than stating a fact that that information hasn't been received and doesn't have any repercussions to the state party. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now Spain, please, Spain.
Yo creo que es que aquí tenemos una diferente interpretación del 172, que lo que nos pide es que informamos de aquellas infraestructuras que puedan afectar. Es decir, cuando vayamos a iniciar un proyecto, tiene que haber ese diálogo con el centro y para prevenir un posible daño. Entonces, yo no veo el interés en una referencia al futuro. Ça va de soi, lo tenemos que hacer sí o sí. Si empezamos a establecer una práctica en el comité de que no hace falta informar al Centro de Patrimonio porque consideramos que no va a afectar, entonces, ¿para qué tenemos la directriz 172? Por lo tanto, si no quieren hacer una mención a este párrafo, aunque sea, dejen una mención hasta la referencia conformément au paragraphe 172 des orientations. No veo qué daño hace a referirnos a textos que son de obligado cumplimiento para todos los Estados parte. Y por eso, si no quieren hacer una referencia al daño que se haya hecho, al daño universal, porque se considere que no sea o que no ha sido probado, pero lo que sí está claro es que no se ha informado ex ante, tal y como establece la directriz 172, que nos lo piden. Y vuelvo a reiterar mi preocupación porque dejemos de tener ese diálogo que es muy instructivo y que permite evitar situaciones como estas en la que acabamos discutiendo si inscribimos o no un bien en una lista en peligro, que es precisamente algo a evitar cuando de lo que se trata es de conciliar el desarrollo sostenible con la protección de los bienes inscritos. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you very much. Kuwait, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. We also agree with Spain and Norway and Australia regarding, stating the facts, and also stating the facts will help the point of view what is stated in China for future activities. So this is just stating the facts it's maintaining it, so we agree with that point of view.
Thank you very much. Cuba, please.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Cuba está dispuesta a sumarse a un consenso con relación a la mejor forma de expresar esta resolución. Simplemente queremos llamar la atención de que realmente lo que se está planteando en este párrafo tendría sentido hace 3 años, cuando por primera vez vino al comité la situación de este proyecto. Pero durante todos estos años hemos estado lidiando con el problema. Por eso simplemente nos parece que estaría de más en este proyecto de decisión. Gracias.
Thank you very much. Azerbaijan, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I mean, we are always referring to the consistency in this committee and the decision that we took before in the previous sessions. And as I already mentioned in my explanation of the deletion of this amendment, I said that this issue was heavily discussed in the previous committee decision, and there was a committee decision to remove this reference from the text, from the committee decision. So for the sake of consistency, we propose the deletion of this because all studies have been done, and again, there was no any indication that this metro line project badly or negatively impact the OUV of the property. So with this in mind, if the committee would like to go along with the consistency, then it would be good. If not, if there is any other position, so we are really a bit puzzled. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other view? China, please. China.
Sorry to ask for floor again, Madam Chair. I was thinking also, just in case that we couldn't reach a compromise, perhaps indicating something like to reiterate the importance of the paragraph 172 of the operational guideline. Something along these lines might also be a way out. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Norway, please. Norway.
Yes, we would just like to ask the Centre to give us some advice on how to understand paragraph 172 that we are now discussing.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. You have paragraph 172 in your operational guidelines. The idea is that the committee can take informed decisions on the basis of early information to avoid situations we are faced with today in a number of cases. Now, in this case, this early information did not come to the committee, and this was confirmed through the reports you have heard today. Now, unfortunately, I have to say that this paragraph is maybe one of the most underutilized by states parties of the Convention. Unfortunately, we get most information by other bodies and civil society in terms of paragraph 172. We would like to see in the future of this convention that the early information is used to the best possible extent, and as was mentioned by many members of this committee, to have an early dialogue with the advisory bodies and the World Heritage Center to prevent such situations in the future, because we have all the expertise available, so to make the best informed decisions then subsequently. Thank you very much.
So now we are faced two different opinions. Do you think that do you like to have a vote, or you want to have time? You want to establish a group from all the countries concerned, and we'll give you like 1 or 2 days as you like, or we vote today. Bahrain, please.
I don't think the subject matter is worth deliberating any further, Madam Chair. I think other items in the draft decision would require further discussions. It's, as I mentioned earlier, it is just a regret. We are not recommending, we are not requesting anything. If previous decisions of the other committees were not regretful of what happened, perhaps members of this committee have some concerns and have some regrets. So it's not a matter of being consistent or not, it's just a matter of reflecting on things that took place in the past, and as I said, it has no repercussions to the States Party whatsoever. And I think as an item in the draft decision, there were other items that I think would require time to deliberate and discuss rather than this item. Thank you.
So you agreed that you need more time to discuss? Angola, please.
Madame la Présidente, je pense que nous sommes devant une situation où il faut mettre en place un groupe de rédaction. Pourquoi? Tout simplement parce que la décision, le projet de décision a été rédigé dans une perspective négative d'inscrire le bien sur la liste du patrimoine mondial en péril. Là, nous revenons sur une situation positive, donc ça demande que le projet soit revu dans cette perspective-là. Donc on ne peut pas le faire comme ça à l'écran, c'est pratiquement ingérable. Donc il faudra que l'Azerbaïdjan qui a proposé des amendements à ces projets de décision et certains pays que je vois, l'Espagne, la Norvège, l'Australie par exemple, pourraient se mettre ensemble et proposer quelque chose d'assez cohérent en reprenant des recommandations des organisations consultatives que l'État partie devrait mettre en place pour pouvoir soumettre un rapport dans un an. Je pense qu'il faut mettre en place un groupe de rédaction. C'est notre position. Je vous remercie.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Uganda, please.
Madam Chair, when we listen to the different voices, we seem to be castigating Pakistan when it is in this room. If for sure Pakistan did not notify this committee through the World Heritage Center, then, Madam Chair, why don't we allow them space to state whether they did so or not? In this regard, then, we could either retain or delete after their submission. I submit, Chair.
Thank you very much. Australia, please.
Madam Chair, Australia is open to the suggestion that this could be resolved, the text of the decision could be resolved through a drafting group, but I do make the observation that there is no lack of coherence in what has been proposed by Spain and endorsed by Spain and Norway and supported by Australia. We're simply asking that just some elements of the originally draft decision be retained, and we've indicated where they are. And if we work through those things sequentially, paragraph by paragraph, we will get to them, and I'm sure work productively through them, but are happy to accept the recommendation of a working group if that's what the committee would like to do. In relation to this paragraph that we're discussing right at this moment, having heard the intervention from the distinguished representative of Azerbaijan about this subject having been discussed previously, I had a look at the decision from the 40th session of the committee in Istanbul, and it is the case that at that time the committee expressed concern about the development of the monorail and also reminded the state party of its obligations to report to the centre any developments that may have the potential to impact on the outstanding universal value of the property under paragraph 172. It would be good to know, and I just haven't been able to ascertain whether the project was underway already at that time. And if it was underway and the state party had been reminded of its reporting obligations, then I think it would be reasonable to assume that paragraph 4, in those circumstances, is not necessary to retain. But I would want to hear perhaps from the centre exactly what was the status of the development of the railway at the time the committee considered this matter at Istanbul.
Thank you very much. Now I give the floor to Norway, please. Brazil, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Based on our technical evaluation, we think that having a forward-looking and a positive way and constructive, trying to find a positive and constructive solution doesn't mean that we would forget what has happened, and it doesn't prevent us from regretting past measures that could have been conducted in a better way. In that sense, we support the proposal made by Spain, Norway, and Australia in order to state that we regret what has happened. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now you like to have a drafting group. We just give you the text tonight, and you think about it, and you'll maybe come tomorrow or after tomorrow. You give us time. I think this is it's a reasonable solution. You have to see and just think about it, and tomorrow, or you just say when you wanted to. Thank you. Azerbaijan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We fully respect your aspiration to move forward. We understand that we are a bit stuck with this draft decision, and we are in favor, of course, of the consensual decision and to find a compromise with those opposite opinions. So we are ready to discuss this in a small drafting group and to come up perhaps tomorrow in the afternoon with some proposed accepted language. Thank you.
So thank you. I think this is reasonable. Yeah, I will give. Who? Norway? No. So Norway, please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We suggest that the World Heritage Center joins us in this working group, or join the working group that will be made.
Okay, thank you. So you have to be flexible, and in order to reach a just positive solution. Who will? Azerbaijan, please.
Well, regarding the proposal of the Norway distinguished colleague from Norway to invite the representative of the World Heritage Center, we do not object. Of course, it would be good to have also listen them on their position. But at the same time, we would like to invite the representative of the state party concerned also to be part of this and to provide maybe some information again during this process. Thank you.
Spain, please.
Lamento discrepar con el representante de Azerbaiyán. Yo creo que el Estado parte nos ha trasladado información adicional respecto a las medidas que va a adoptar, y si vamos a hacer una labor de drafting, creo que es mejor que lo hagamos entre los miembros del comité, entre aquellos que lo deseen, con la asistencia, si es posible, del Centro de Patrimonio, si así lo desean los miembros del comité, con la información de la que contamos, tanto de los organismos evaluadores, del Centro de Patrimonio y del Estado parte. Muchísimas gracias.
Okay, so according to the rules, the drafting committee must be from the committee members. The other maybe can attend as observers without giving an opinion, but you have to be practical. At the end, we need to reach a solution, acceptable solution for all of you. So tomorrow, this will be distributed today, the draft, and you take it and you think about it, discuss it between you, and I will be happy to fix time which you accept tomorrow in the afternoon or after tomorrow, as you like.
Is Azerbaijan chairing or Angola?
So now just there we have one question. Who will be chairing the group? Azerbaijan or Uganda? Uganda, please. Angola, excuse me, I cannot see from far.
Madame la Présidente, d'abord nous appuyons la proposition de l'Espagne que ce groupe de rédaction soit constitué uniquement par le membre du comité. Donc, on n'a pas besoin des observateurs, les membres du comité doivent rédiger ces projets de décision. Je vous remercie.
Thank you. Spain would like to... please, Spain, you have the floor.
No tenemos ningún inconveniente en presidir y en intentar lograr un consenso para desbloquear y para hacer una propuesta al comité que nos permita, entre todos, poder lograr una redacción lo más positiva, pero también coherente posible.
Okay. Is Spain going to chair the drafting group? Okay? Everybody okay? Okay? Yes? So Spain will chair the group. And tomorrow, if you have any development, if you need anything, I will be available. We'll have it maybe in the morning, the session, or in the afternoon, or any time you like. Thank you very much. So we have to close today, and we'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And we have before that an announcement.
For the side events of tonight, we have only two side events. One starts at 6:10, and this is an event organized by the advisory bodies, by IUCN, called Climate Change and World Heritage, dealing with the most sinister threat to world heritage. And of course, this is the last time that we have to announce our special fundraising event, A Night for Virunga, which will take place at Arcapita at 8 o'clock this evening. Transport will be insured and leave from the venue at 7:30 p.m. and then the buses will take you back to your hotels. Just a word that a few tickets are still available, not very much, but just a few. So if you wish, that's now the time to go and get them. Thank you and enjoy your evening.